Alex Ovechkin, now 12 goals away from passing Wayne Gretzky for the most in NHL history. And I got to say, I did not grow up in the era of Wayne Gretzky. I remember Wayne Gretzky as a New York Ranger and nothing else. I do not remember him as a Blue, as a King, as an Oiler, nothing. I don't have any recollection of that. I will say that I feel so fortunate to have grown up in the era of Alex Ovechkin. Alex Ovechkin. This guy, he's really, I understand he's a polarizing player, but 6'3", 220, can throw some hits. Like prime Ovi was like a menace in terms of how he threw his body around. And he's got that shot that I swear he could just put a hole in a net and we'd never even notice. He's unbelievable. So he's 12 goals away now from breaking the record. I think he is just an incredible once-in-a-generation kind of athlete. You like him, you hate him. I've really enjoyed watching him. I really have. When Ovi was coming up, I was in high school, and this was before YouTube and Instagram Reels and all that. You would have to seek out Ovi highlights. I remember when we all talked, we all got to school the next day, and we talked about that goal he had where he was falling down and he's spinning around and, it ends, and you're we were all that's incredible. That's the greatest goal ever. We were freaking out. He was a guy, he was a human highlight reel, and he still is at 39 years old. It's really incredible. And I think what's fun about Ovi, by the way, is that he could break the record in Boston. He's got to go cold here, which is might not happen. But the Capitals are in Boston on April 1st. So that they're 15 games away. He's probably going to break it before then just because he's been scoring in bunches. But if he can go cold for a little while, maybe take off that California trip, Ovi. Get some sun. Get some sun, relax. I don't know, get some tacos by the pier. I don't know, whatever you want to do in California. He could break it in Boston. That'd be a lot of fun. I would like to see that. I don't know. As a pure hockey fan, I'd love to see Ovi break the record in Boston.
And especially with the record that no one thought would be touched.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought this would stand the test of time. I really did. I remember Ovi had a couple of down years recently, and I was like, he's not going to get it. That sucks. And then he's come flying back. He's just scoring left and right. And so as a hockey fan, I enjoy watching history. I've said it before on this show, Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid is the most talented player I've ever watched. Just pure talent, speed, skill, size, the way he can just turn on the Jets and take over a game. He's the most talented player I've ever seen. I think Sidney Crosby is the most complete, high-end, 120-point superstar I've ever seen. And I think Ovi is the best offensive player I've ever seen. That's it's not a hot take. They are considered three of the best players of all time, but that's how I break it down. In era, it's okay, the most complete 100-point superstar is Crosby. The most talented is McDavid. The most talented scorer is Ovechkin. I've never seen anyone who can hammer the puck like Ovechkin. So I hope he does it. We'll see what happens. But this is not a Capitals show. This is the hockey show. We can talk about whatever we want. This is not a Capitals show, I understand. So, but that's something that I think watching history, you have to appreciate it. It's the same thing. I remember I was in Chicago when Ichiro was chasing the 3,000 hits club, and the Marlins were in town for a series at Wrigley. Went to 2 games, and it was really cool watching like Japanese baseball fans there clinging to every at-bat that Ichiro had. Cameras out, signs, they wanted to see history. And it was funny watching that kind of happen. Ichiro, people were following Ichiro as he was trying to hit 3,000. I'm curious what the Capitals fans are doing right now in terms of Ovi. Do they have games? Is someone planning a trip to San Jose and LA right now and being that might be the night? I don't know. He's playing Detroit, Seattle, those teams don't have good goaltending. Can this be the game that, he kind of breaks through? So I'm curious what it's going to be like, with our luck, with the Bruins' luck and TD Garden's curse, which remains cursed, by the way. 4 Nations confirmed it. He'll do the night before against Buffalo, which is that would not be fun. That'd be what a bummer that would be.
Right on cue, though. It would be right on cue.
Oh yeah, no, it's totally in line with how the season has gone. Like everyone's like buying tickets. Let's go, baby. Ovi.
Any good moment or hope for something that would be cool? No, just gone.
No, yeah, just gone. You know what I will say? The crowd though has remained electric for the intermission games. They love them some intermission games. The 3 minutes of fame, the little kids running out, going top shelf. The donut game they have right now. They do like some weird donut game where like they like put donuts on each other and they got to run. I do like though that the Garden has remained the Garden, and if someone says like their favorite, if one of the little kids who does the 3 minutes of fame is like, my favorite player is Sidney Crosby, boo! Like they don't cheer them. They actively boo the children, which I think Boston, we got to keep our charm. We got to get tougher again. Too many New York plates on the road. Drive around Boston, you're like, we're losing our soul. This is not great. This is not ideal. You don't want that. Anyways, I want to see Ovi break the record. I mean, he's gonna, but I want to see it happen here. Again, like just the hockey fan in me. What's the next record that's never gonna be touched? Because this one's gonna get touched. Like I think the Gretzky points record is gonna stand forever.
That will never get touched.
Yeah, that's just like it's insane. The single season one too. It's like 190 or something like that. Like, no one's touching that. I
didn't think anyone was gonna touch this.
I don't think anyone. It's a different sport. I know. No one's hitting 400 ever again, like in a single season. Like Ted Williams at 406. Like no one's gonna do that. That's over. They got guys who like sit because they don't want to like risk it going down. That's loser behavior. Who was that guy? He was with the Padres, right? Padres or the Marlins. He was hitting like 3. He was like winning the batting title, and he didn't want to risk losing it to the guy who was like on his heels. So he sat out. Like come on. So I will say this about the Ovi thing real quick. They're not sitting him trying to get him to break it at home, which I appreciate. I like that. There's like he doesn't want to sit. He doesn't want to break it at the Verizon Center, whatever it's called, Capital One Arena now. Like he just wants to keep playing, and I hope they stick to that. I hope it's not like okay, he's one away, he's not going to play on the road. That's a disservice to the fans.
And you're also tempting fate.
That too. Don't mess with the hockey voodoo. Don't do it. The 2023 Bruins did, and look how that ended up. I don't want to talk about that. I want to have a good time. Miserable. Absolute misery.
Because this season's so much fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, listen, if you had it's a Sophie's choice. You can experience this season knowing that you're probably not going to make the playoffs. Or you can experience 2023 again where you have 60 wins. You're like, all right, here we go. Cup final coming to Boston. And then you lose in 7 games in overtime. What's your pick? It's not easy.
No, it's not. Probably still.
Not making the playoffs or getting to the playoffs?
Getting to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's better to have loved and lost than never love at all, as they say. That is true.